Alright, so this is the second video related to the Polymesh blockchain. In the earlier video, I gave you some introduction with the blockchain, and we discussed what is the difference between this blockchain and other blockchains like Ethereum, what are the specialities of this blockchain, and who are the users of this blockchain. And then we go through the setup process and install the Polymesh crypto wallet in the Chrome browser. And you can see that my crypto wallet for the Polymesh is set up, and there are some accounts that has been verified and registered on the blockchain. So this is the prerequisite for this video, because in this video we are going to make a deployment of a custom security token, and we will go through the management, and then we will transfer those tokens to some of these accounts. So one of these accounts will be used as the issuer, and other accounts will be used as the receiver of that token. So if you have not set up your crypto wallet, please go through the earlier video, and once your crypto wallet is ready, then we can go ahead and in this demo. Alright, so once you are ready for this demo and your crypto wallet is set up with some accounts, with some verified accounts on the network, we can proceed with our demos. Open your crypto wallet, and then on the top there is a link. Go to dashboard, click on that link, and that will redirect the browser to the Polymesh dashboard. Click on connect Polymesh wallet, and that will log in your user into the dashboard. There's no username or password, because your Polymesh account will act as the login to this dashboard. The second thing, you just make sure that your wallet is connected with the testnet, and you can see that the link is testnet dashboard polymesh.live, and this will load the Polymesh dashboard and with your account. You can also switch if you have multiple accounts in your wallet. You can switch between different accounts. For example, right now this dashboard is connected with this user. You can connect with another user, and that will refresh the dashboard. So once the dashboard loads, it will show you the information related to the currently selected user. Right now, the user that is selected from the Polymesh wallet is this account, and you can see that it is showing you the total number of PolyX tokens that this account is holding. You can verify it, and you can see that that is the exact amount. And there's some other information, like this is the public address of this account, and there's some activity, some holdings of this account is holding some tokens in the blockchain, and there's some activity. I've been using this account for some time, so that's why you see a lot of activity in this account. So let's switch to the account that we created in the first video. So this is the account that we created in the first video. To switch to the account, simply click open the Polymesh wallet, and then click on that account. The account is selected with the indication that there is a tick mark over here, which indicates that this is the currently selected account in your Polymesh wallet, and the dashboard is showing information related to this account. So let's wait for some time for the dashboard to load. So once the dashboard refresh, it will show you the information related to the currently selected Polymesh account that is selected in your wallet, and you can verify that this account is holding that many PolyX tokens into the blockchain. You can also verify it from the wallet, and then there are some other sections. There's a holding section which will be listing all the tokens or assets that this account is holding into the blockchain. This is a new account that we created in the previous video, and we will be using this account as an issuer, which means that from this account we will be deploying new security tokens into the blockchain, and then we will be transferring those tokens to the other receivers. So other sections are, for example, there are no transactions into this accounts. There are other tabs into this dashboard. There's a security token, which again shows the holdings, what tokens this or assets this particular account is holding into the blockchain. There are portfolios. There's a default portfolio that is associated with this account, but you can create more portfolios and manage your assets or the security tokens into those custom portfolio. By default, I mean all the tokens that you will receive, they will receive into the default portfolio. There are other tabs like stacking and governance that we are not going to cover in this video. So let's switch to the Explore, and on this tab there are two things that we are going to talk about: the Poly to PolyX bridge and the Token Studio. And then the last tab is the accounts. Again, it is showing you some information. For example, this is the public address and this is your key, and then there are attestations. So we will talk about that attestations and other things later into the video. So let's switch to the Explore tab first. So we will be using the currently selected account as an issuer account, which means that we will be making a deployment of our new security token into the blockchain, and then in the demo I will show you that how to manage different things about that token, like compliance requirements and other things. To do that, open the Explore tab, and there is a new link, Token Studio. But before opening the Token Studio, let's talk about the Poly to PolyX bridge. So the background is that on any blockchain, if you want to perform any operation on any blockchain, you must have some native token of that blockchain. And that native token will be used as the gas price or the transaction fee on the blockchain. So for example, on the Ethereum blockchain, the native token is Ether. So if you are performing any transactions on the Ethereum blockchain, like transfer of tokens or deployment of a smart contract on the Ethereum blockchain, you must have sufficient Ethers in the Ethereum blockchain. So on the Polymesh, the native token is called the PolyX. So you have to make sure that before performing any operation like deployment of a new security token on the blockchain, you must have sufficient PolyX token in your account. So what is the Poly to PolyX bridge? So the details are that the company behind the Polymesh blockchain is the Polymath. So that's the company which has launched the Polymesh blockchain. But before they did the deployment of the Polymesh blockchain, they have a token on the Ethereum blockchain which is called the Polymath. We have separate videos on this channel in which we have the demos that how you can deploy a Polymath token into the Ethereum blockchain. And to make that deployment, you must purchase some Poly tokens on the Ethereum blockchain from the Polymath company. So what happens is that in case of the Polymesh, you still need those Poly tokens, and using this bridge, you can transfer those tokens from the Ethereum blockchain to the Polymesh blockchain in your account. So you can use this bridge. So that's the background. So you purchase the Poly tokens on the Ethereum blockchain, and then using this bridge in this dashboard, you transfer those Poly tokens to the Polymesh blockchain in your account, and they will become the PolyX tokens. Alright, so that's what you will be doing on the main network. You will be using the bridge to transfer your Poly tokens from the Ethereum blockchain to your Polymesh account. But we are using the test network. So when we set up our wallet and your accounts, the network automatically transfers some test tokens in your account. So we have the sufficient tokens in our account, and we can proceed with our demos. Alright, so we are all set to make deployment of a security token in using our current account. For that purpose, you can switch to the Explore tab, and just make sure that the correct account, which is going to be the issuer account, is selected in your Polymesh wallet, and then switch to Explore tab, and then click on the Go to Token Studio, and that will open the Polymesh Token Studio in your browser. Let's click on the Connect Polymesh wallet, and that will load the Polymesh Token Studio in your browser. So once the interface open, you can see that there is an option to create a new security tokens. As this is a new blockchain, as this is a new account, so there are no tokens that are associated with this account. So let's go ahead and make a deployment of our first token into this account. On this screen, on the next interface, you can see that you have to go through some steps to make a deployment of your security token. The first step is to reserve a ticker. A ticker is basically a unique name that you can give to your security token on the Polymesh blockchain, and once that ticker is reserved and the token has been deployed that is associated with that ticker will never be used again on this blockchain by anybody else. So let's go ahead and register our ticker on the blockchain. So let's try with, for example, test, and you can see that this ticker is already been registered on the blockchain, so you cannot use this ticker for your for the deployment of this token. So let's enter another name, Poly10. So yeah, I mean, you're free to register with any ticker name, and the interface will tell you that, I mean, if the ticker name is already been reserved or not. So once you have the confirmation that this ticker is available, you can click on the reserve ticker symbol, and one more thing that you notice is that to perform this operation, you need 500 PolyX token in your account. So we already have sufficient PolyX token, so we can go ahead and perform this operation. So let's click on the confirm, and that should open your Polymesh wallet, and then you enter the password of your account, and you can see that, I mean, there is a breakup of how much PolyX tokens will be used. Just make sure that, I mean, you have that many PolyX tokens in your account, and then click on the sign button, and that will start, and that will send a transaction to the blockchain. So once the transaction completes, it's going to give you the indication that ticker symbol reservation is a success. That transaction has been completed, and this interface will load, and you can see that there is a time that is running. Basically, it is telling that, I mean, this particular ticker has been reserved by this account on the Polymesh blockchain, and before this time is over, you can make a deployment of a new security token and associate that security token with this ticker name. But I mean, if you don't make a deployment of a new security token on the blockchain, after this time expires, this symbol will be released on the blockchain, and anybody else can claim this ticker name. So I closed the Token Studio and came back after a few hours. So let's reopen the Token Studio and make the deployment of the custom token. Connect with the Polymesh wallet. Just make sure that your wallet is connected with the testnet and the correct account is selected. So when the Token Studio will open, you will see that the ticker that we registered a few hours ago is still there, and we can go ahead and make a deployment of the security token. And when the Token Studio interface loads, you can see that the ticker symbol that we registered or reserved a few hours ago is still there, and the time to expire is mentioned here. Let's open the ticker symbol and go ahead with the deployment of this ticker or token. Let's use the same name as token name. For the instrument type, let's select equity common. Let's keep it this by default. For the security identifier, let's select none. Assignment funding, let's select just Series A. Token divisibility, you have to make it with some planning. If you select the indivisible, that means that the tokens cannot be divided into fractions. You cannot transfer the tokens, like for example 1.5 or 2.5. You have to transfer the token as a whole. But once you select the divisibility, that means that you can transfer the tokens in fraction. There's one thing that you have to keep in mind, that if you select the indivisible, at some later stage after the token has been deployed, you can make it divisible. But once you select the divisible, you cannot make the token indivisible at some later stage. So let's select it as indivisible. For the reference type, you can select any one of them, and let's configure the token. And you also notice that you need at least 2500 polyx tokens to make this deployment. That means that you must have that many polyx in your account, and we have that many polyx in our account. You also notice that we reserve the ticker symbol with that requires 500 polyx, and you can see that amount has been reduced. So let's go ahead and make the deployment of the security token. All right, let's confirm it. And let's sign the transaction. And now you can see that the token deployment has been started, and when the transaction completes, it will give you the status that the token has been deployed. And after less than a minute, the transaction completes and the token has been deployed. You can see that the transaction is successful. This is the transaction ID in the network. You can copy this transaction ID. So let's collapse this, and now the interface is showing the token, and all of these interfaces or the controls are related to this token in the blockchain. Okay, let's close the Token Studio and reopen the Token Studio, and I want to show you that now in the Token Studio the newly deployed token will be shown. If you have selected the correct account in the Polymesh wallet, the Token Studio interface will show you the newly deployed token. And there you can see the newly deployed token in your Token Studio. You can go ahead and make deployment of another token. The process is the same. You have to register a ticker, and then you fill a form, and then you can make a deployment of a token. For each token deployment, you need at least 3000 polyx tokens. You can see that we make one deployment of a token, and 3000 polyx has been reduced from my account. So let's open the token that we have just deployed and go through different interfaces that the dashboard provides for this token that we have just deployed. The different interfaces that are provided. The first tab is the token, and shows the token related information, the token symbol and the token name. You can see that 0 tokens has been issued into the blockchain, and this is the information that we entered in the form when we were making the deployment of a token. And you can also edit the token details. You can change the token name, but you cannot change the token symbol because that is unique in the blockchain. But you can change the token name, you can change the funding round, and there you can see that you can change the token divisibility. Right now we selected the indivisible, but you can change it to divisible. But once you make the change to the divisible, you cannot, this control will not be available in the edit token again. So let's cancel it, and let's open the next interface. So the second tab is the compliance tab, and this is the most important tab that you must set once you make the deployment of the security token. In fact, this is the first thing that you must do after you make the deployment of the token. On this tab, there are two sections: the approved attestation providers. I come back to this section a little bit later, but let's go ahead and set the token transfer rules. So these are the restrictions or the compliances that you will set on the token, and each receiver who wants to receive these tokens from you as an issuer, their accounts must fulfill these conditions. So you can set these conditions on the token. So let's go ahead and set up some restrictions. You can see that in this section you can set as many restrictions as you like. So let's set the first condition, must be, and then we select the KYC. So basically what this condition is that each receiver or the account who want to receive the token from you must fulfill the KYC condition. So let's submit or set this rule on the token. So for each, all of these are the separate transactions, and you have to approve the transaction with your wallet, and each one of these transactions will cost you some PolyX token. So you can see that for this transaction you need at least 0.078 PolyX token in your account. So it's very minimum amount that you have to pay for each transaction. Only the expensive transactions are when you are registering a ticker, which is around 500 PolyX, and when you are making a new transfer, making a new deployment of a token, which is around 2500 PolyX token, making it the whole cost of deployment of a token to around 3000 PolyX token. But after that, the transactions that you will perform, they are in fractions. So anyway, the first transaction has complete. So we have set the first rule or the compliance on our token. You can set more conditions. So let's set another condition, must be, and then we select a jurisdiction, and then we set that the person who is using who wish to receive the token must be in the jurisdiction of the United States of America, and then let's submit the change and send this transaction to the blockchain. And once this transaction will also complete, it will also set this condition on the blockchain on this token. So you can see that this is again the transaction will cost below the fractions, and let's send the transaction to the blockchain, and that will set the second rule on the token. So once the transaction completes, you can see that we have set up two conditions or two rules, the transfer rules on our token. And what it means is that each account who want to receive these tokens from us, their account must fulfill these two conditions. That is, they must be KYC, and they must be verified that they are in the jurisdiction of the United States of America. So we set up two rules on our token, and that means that each account who want to receive these tokens from us as an issuer, their account must fulfill these two conditions, that is the KYC, and their accounts must be verified that they are in the jurisdiction of the United States of America. So you can set up as many rules as you like, but let's set up these two rules for this demo, and let's move ahead with the first section, which is approved attestation providers. So these are the accounts that you have given the authorities who can approve other accounts that they fulfill these conditions. They can be some external companies or external KYC providers who will be working for you, and they will be attesting different accounts on your behalf that they fulfill these conditions. Or it can be some external service providers that you can hire from the internet, and they will be attesting the users with these conditions. And you can see that there is no attestation provider that is set for this token. So let's go ahead and add an attestation provider. For that, you need the Polymesh account ID. So let's let's add our own issuer account as the attestation provider for this token. For that, you need the Polymesh account ID. Open the Polymesh wallet, and this is the account ID that you need. So when you are attesting the external providers, so you need their Polymesh ID as well. So let's copy this Polymesh ID into the Polymesh account, and let's give it the name issuer, or you can simply select add your own Polymesh account, which is the same, which is actually the same. And then you have to select that what conditions this attestation provider can set for different accounts. For the receiver accounts, you can select a specific condition that this attestation provider can set, or you can select all and click on add. Let's confirm it. Let's confirm the transaction, sign it and send it to the network, and this will complete the, once the transaction is complete, it will add the attestation provider to our list. I think the transaction has completed, and let's refresh the interface. Alright, so that adds the attestation provider in the list. We just authorize our own issuer account as the attestation provider. So this compliance tab is also complete. Post sections has been configured. Our rules are set, and we have added attestation provider who has been given the authority, who can attest other accounts, who can receive our tokens. So let's go ahead to the next section, which is the attestation. So this will be the list of accounts that has been attested with the conditions that we set, and those are the accounts who can receive our tokens. For the time being, there's no receiver that we have set up. The next tab is the distribution tab. So you can see that, I mean, right now there are no tokens that we have issued in this token. So let's mint some tokens, and you can see that this is our issuer's account. So our issuer account will also be the distribution agent. So what we are doing is that we are going to mint new tokens, and we are going to give it to the distribution account, which is also our issuer account. So let's mint new tokens. Let's say I want to mint 10,000 tokens, and let's mint those tokens, and that will prepare the transaction that we have to sign with our Polymesh wallet. And let's sign it, and that will send the transaction to the blockchain, and that will mint new tokens, and those tokens will be transferred to the distribution agent, which is also our own issuer's account. All right, so the transaction completes, and let's collapse it, and now you can see that, I mean, we have issued 10,000 new tokens in the blockchain. If I go back to the tokens tab, now you can see that, I mean, 10,000 tokens has been issued on the blockchain. So using the distribution, you can mint new tokens that will be given to the distribution agents. So now in the last at the last of this demo, we are going to attest an account, a receiver's account, and we will transfer some tokens to that receiver. For that purpose, we are going to use another account from our Polymesh wallet. Let's use this account. If I switch to this account, and you can see that the Polymesh token studio will refresh, and it will show the information that is related to that account. If we switch to the Polymesh dashboard, it's going to show the information related to the selected account. So we are going to use this account as the receiver's account. So we just switch to that account, and the dashboard is showing the information related to that account. And you can see that he's holding some tokens, some other tokens from other issuers, but not the token that we just deployed. So all right, so the first thing is that this account has to be attested. You can say that this is your receiver's account or your investor's account. What you need is that you need to get their ID, which is this one, or you can say in the Polymesh wallet, this is the ID that you need. And let's copy this ID, and this ID your investor will be providing, will provide to the issuer, and or you can say that to the attestation provider, and he will be using their interface, the Token Studio, to attest those that account. So let's go ahead and attest this account as the receiver. Let's copy this, and before that let's switch to our issuer account. We are back in our issuer's account. Let's switch to the attestations. So we have our receiver's ID, and this is the ID that we are going to attest, because our issuer account is also the attestation provider, so he can attest the receiver's account. So let's switch to the attestations tab and click on add identity, and let's enter the Polymesh account. And we are going to confirm that he confirmed to the KYC and jurisdiction. Well, you can say no expiry of the KYC, and for the jurisdiction, make sure that you select the United States. And but before I attest this account, let me show you one more thing. If I go back to the distribution, I want to show you that at the moment this account is not eligible to receive the tokens from the issuer account. So if I switch to the distribution and click on distribute tokens and enter the account ID, let's add a new distribution event. Let's call it the first distribution. Enter the account ID, and let's enter, let's suppose we want to mint 1,000 token, and you can see that this account is not eligible to receive these tokens. It's because this account is not yet been verified that it fulfill the transfer conditions that we set on this token. So let's go ahead, let's verify this account. Switch to the attestations provider. So I want to show you that you cannot transfer these tokens to any account. That account has to fulfill, that account must be verified by the attestation provider that it fulfill all the compliance rules that we just set. So let's switch to the attestation provider, click on add new identity, enter the account ID. Let's make sure that the KYC and the jurisdiction that we set is United States of America, and then we click on the save button, and now that will add the account in the attestation provider. We have to confirm our transaction, sign it, and this account will be attested by the attestation provider in this token. So the transaction is running, and it should complete in few seconds. And now the transaction has been successful, and the account is added to the attestation providers. And you can see that account is added to the attestation providers. So let's now switch to the distribution again, and let's try to transfer some tokens to this account. So let's distribute, and you can enter any distribution event and enter the account ID and enter the number of tokens that you want to transfer, and click on the distribute and confirm it. And now you can see that it doesn't complain that the account cannot receive the tokens, because now it fulfilled all the requirements that you set on the token. So let's confirm the transaction with our wallet, and that will send the transaction. Sign it, and that will start running the distribution, and the distribution is successful. And if we switch to the tokens, we transfer 1000 tokens. I think the distribution is successful, so it should reduce the amount. Let's switch to the distribution again. Alright, I think it's still waiting for. Oh yeah. So what happens is that the transfer is complete, but this is the unique feature in the Polymesh, that the receiver has to confirm that he wants to receive these tokens. So that's the difference between this the Polymesh blockchain and other blockchains in the Ethereum. For example, if you transfer the tokens without the consent of the receiver, the tokens will be transferred on the blockchain. But in Polymesh, because this is a security tokens, the approval has to be given from both the receiver and from the sender as well as from the receiver. So let's switch to the receiver's account and confirm that we want to receive this transaction. So I'm going to switch to the receiver's account, and that will switch the dashboard to the account that we have selected, and there you will see an alert. So this is the receiver's account. So let's switch to the security tokens, and there you can see that in the incoming distributions you will have an alert. And there you have the alerts. The dashboard is saying that there is a transaction pending, that the issuer has transferred 1000 PolyX test poly 10 tokens to our account, and I have to accept it. So that's the main difference between the Polymesh and other blockchains. They have when you are making some distribution, the person who is receiving those tokens, he has to confirm or accept that distribution. So let's accept it, confirm it, and now the receiver has to verify the transaction, and once he verified this transaction, the distribution will complete. The tokens will be transferred from the issuer to the receiver's account. So we just complete the receiver has just complete the transaction, and now you can see that if I refresh this holdings again, and now you can see that I have some new holdings from this issuers, and we are holding 1000 token from this issuer. So that will complete the distribution event. So the issuer will send the distribution to the receiver, and the receiver has to confirm that he accepts that and receive those tokens. So these are the steps that you need to perform to set up your security token. And to attest, you have to provide you have to set the transfer rules, then you have to set up the attestation providers, and then you have to attest the accounts with the conditions that we set, and then we can make the distribution. And the distribution will only complete once the receiver will accept that distribution. So let's switch back to the issuer account again, and let's see what happens, or the statistics that will be shown there. And this is the issuer's dashboard, and you can see that he has deployed one token and he is holding 9,000. The distribution account is holding 9,000 Attestation token. Alright, so let's switch to the token studio as well and see the statistics in there as well. And you can see that the number of tokens, oops, it's still 10,000. Now this is showing 9,000, but the token studio has not yet been refreshed. So let's refresh it again. It should be 9,000. So let's go in the distribution. Yeah, in the distribution is showing the correct amount that we are holding. Maybe that is I think that is showing the total number of tokens that that has been issued into this this is the total supply of this token. So that is the correct amount, that is the 10,000. But in the distribution you can see that in fact on our issuers main dashboard, that is also showing that issuers distribution account is holding 9,000 Attestation tokens. And also in the token studio, in the distribution tab, you have 9,000 tokens to distribute. So that concludes this demo. What we did was that we started from the scratch. We set up our accounts, and then we set up then we prepare the token deployment by registering or reserving a ticker symbol. We deploy the token, then we configure the compliance tabs, we configure the attestation provider, and then we issue some or mint some tokens to the distribution account. And after that we attest one of the receiver's account, and we transfer some tokens to the receiver. And on the receiver side we confirm that we receive to receive those or you can say accept those tokens, and that completes the distribution cycle as well. And that concludes our demo.